And now there's a clash happening bottom, and you know that Puppey is just looking at these clashes. He sees the fight breaks out, instantly uses his Wrath of Nature first. The Wrath of Nature will push out the creep waves, but also do damage in the clash. And he TPs into the middle of the clash, where he's able to just help out his allies. And the reason why he's TPing in the middle of the clashes and not like super far out on the outskirts is because he's very tanky right now, right? He's got a Spear Vessel, he's got a Hood. He kind of wants people to go on him. Alright, we got a pretty sick replay here of Puppey playing position 5 Nature's Prophet, the insane micro-intensive hero player. One of the all-time greats with super high success rate. So in this, we got a special trait of watching him play Nature's Prophet. This hero can even carry games on his own by being able to split push and apply a lot of pressure on the map. So we're going to see a lot of small things in this game that you can do to be able to play position 5 NP. So at the start of the game, he went for a Blightstone, 1 Tango, because he pulled 2 Tangos to his teammates, obviously. And he's got a lot of base damage. If you look at Nature's Prophet, he has 57 plus 2, so he's got 59 damage already as a plus 5. He even gets a Blightstone. That would help his teammates and his little Treants do damage. We can see he brought Treants from the base, took the bounty rune by bullying the enemy out with the Treants, and just keeps using his hero to right-click the enemy, while using his Treants to protect himself. As you can see right now, he's like zoning out the enemy heroes while his carry's up here. Because once the wave reaches this point, you can always go from behind and you can send your Treants onto the enemy heroes, and the Treants will not pull aggro from the creeps. And then you can use your hero after that to right click the enemy and remove their armor and do a lot of damage. So here the Tidehunter is pulling the creep wave, and we can see Puppey using his hero to try and do some damage to him. So I can't pull it, and then when the creep wave got here, he pulled the big camp into the creep wave. And this way the enemy is like super annoyed, right? While giving his Slark essentially complete free farm. As of right now, for the first 2 waves, the enemy has not messed with Slark's creep wave even once. Because this Nature's Prophet has been messing with 2 heroes. And this is why NP as a position 5 is like super powerful, because he's got these really powerful little guys, and his right click just does a lot of damage. The only counterplay to what he's doing is maybe you gush the NP and go at him. But at the same time, you're going to be taking a lot of damage if Puppey just like stands his ground and attacks you back, or the carry comes to help you. If you look at Slark, he's already level 3. The enemy hero is still level 1, feeling a lot of pressure as the Slark was able to deny some creep waves as well. And now that he has like no mana because he keeps using his Nature's Call and going from behind and harassing the cores, he's just going to go and make a pull happen. Also, the lane is pushed up, right? So he can actually harass super efficiently. So just like any other position 5 support, once the lane is pushed, you still need to pull the lane as Nature's Prophet. And you just gotta go there, pull, get some XP, almost level 2. And when he's level 2, we're gonna definitely see him TP back to base and refill his mana. But even without the Nature's Call, he can still do a lot of pressure to these offlane heroes, because he does have a lot of base damage after all. And he's got that Blightstone that can help his ally do damage to the enemy. And now, again, because he doesn't have mana, he's just waiting to get his level 2. He's just gonna pull again. Just get some XP from this small camp, and at the same time also be able to deny creeps from the enemy. And because there's a huge XP advantage for your carry, as you were able to zone him out with the Nature's Prophet and do these pulls, carry was able to solo kill the sniper just like that. And now he's got level 2. And we can see him, he's gonna TP back to the base with the Town Portal Scroll. And then he's gonna TP back to the lane using Teleportation. Now when he's in base like this, he's always looking around the map where he can go. Right? Because he's looking mid, he's looking top, he's looking bottom. This Teleportation can reach him anywhere in the base. He sees the best opportunities to TP back top lane and help his carry maybe get another kill. The TP's top, notices there's a sniper here, and he just wants to chase his Tidehunter out of the top lane. And this Tidehunter feels absolutely terrible because he's getting bullied so hard. And the next item he went is for a raindrop, gives him some mana regen, also some damage block, some magic damage block against the enemy. So he's a bit tankier as an NP. As an NP, like you shouldn't think too much early game about securing your own farm. It's more about securing your carry's farm and just being very annoying against the enemy. And here the Storm tries to go on the NP. He baits out some damage with his raindrop and also the fairy fire, and the Quap manages to get a kill on this Storm in exchange for his own life. So as a position 5's life for a position 2, completely worth it, right? And that was just him baiting his own life with the raindrop and the fairy fire that he had from earlier. And now he TPs back to the mid lane, where he will plant a sentry. Notices, you can see how like he puts a sentry first before he wards because he doesn't want to see the enemy know that he has a ward there. So he drops a sentry, then he puts a ward, he notices that there's not a ward, and it's really easy for him to plant vision as a position 5 Nature's Prophet because he can pretty much teleport anywhere on the map to get this vision out. So this is the best vision that he felt was good and would see a lot, right? Because this shows the enemy mid laner, shows the power rune for your core, and this is another really big ability of Nature's Prophet position 5 because he can pretty much ward anywhere on the map without even being seen walking there. And then he just walks back top. He's only level 2, right? So he still wants to be able to pull some camps and get some experience, maybe even kill the small camp if he needs to. Here he pulls a small camp, but the Tidehunter sees that. He tries to lure the creep wave away, but it doesn't work out. And now the Tide and the Sniper try to go on Puppey here, and Puppey just TPs out. And look at his Slark now. He's level 7, and this is all the power of this Nature's Prophet who has so much lane presence in the early game. And just like that, the enemy Tidehunter just dies to a level 7 Slark. It's just a snowball factor of what Nature's Prophet position 5 can do. And as you can see, he's always buying wards and sentries together because his goal, again, as a position 5, is to actually deward the enemy and apply pressure on the map by always being able to see them. And here he puts another sentry again before he plants a ward because he doesn't want the enemy knowing that he warded, or if there's a ward, you know, he would be able to deward it, and then he plants another ward in the safe lane. So far his 2 lanes were lane ward middle and also a ward here. This sees any rotation from the storm, maybe top, to try and kill the Slark. And at this point, he's just using his time to use his level 2 Nature's Call to actually farm some jungle camps so he can get some experience, but also because it's level 7, he's going to be getting a lot of neutral items for his teammates. Because at the moment, there's not really much pressure that he can apply on the map, right? Experience is very important to get in the current Dota, so. Now he sees that there's a lot of people mid lane trying to apply pressure middle, and his teammates have already rotated bottom, so he uses this time with his next Nature's Call to TP bottom and try to apply some pressure on the tower. As an NP, it's very important that you're always trying to apply pressure where the opponent isn't, because you're trying to split them up the best that you can and try to outnumber them. So here he TP bottom, took the tower, then his teammates have left this lane, so he's just going to stay here, get some XP, and push out this lane at the same time. And now he's bought a boost of speed, just some more mobility. He feels like he needs it, especially against a hero like Storm or something, who's always going to try and look to kill him. Because he was, after all, a first pick Nature's Prophet as a position 5. And now he just got a lot of XP from this. He's also, I believe he took the Tome here. Yeah. So he even needs the Tome here, and that will give him his level 6. Your ultimate is such a big damage tool for you to do some damage globally as well. And he sees a clash happening middle, he just pops his ulti, because maybe if somebody gets hit with a big Wrath of Nature, his teammate will be able to kill them.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
At this point, he just focused on trying to get this bottom lane out, securing himself some more experience. There's not a whole lot happening on the minimap if you take a look. But if there is something happening, he will definitely consider TPing into these clashes. And as a position 5, like, you've made a lot of space for your team early game, secured your Slark's lane and such, and now it's time for your team to give back to you. And they're going to be making some moves while you're going to be securing some experience for yourself and catching up. And just like that, he's already level 8, 13 minutes in, right? Like 4-5 minutes in, he was like level 2, now he's already level 8. So it feels great. His teleportation was on cooldown, so he just uses regular TP to TP top. There's a big clash happening, and he's got an urn now. So he's just being here up, like, with his presence. He's got Blightstone. He does like 100 damage a hit, so that's still a lot of damage. You should always consider that. It's not about always spell casting, but also just being there, showing that you are there, and just right-clicking enemies can be very good for your allies and for you to apply pressure. So just like that, they were able to kill 3 heroes top lane, and then instantly connecting that into a tower. And this is one of the other big powers of Nature's Prophet. You can always connect into objectives as long as you win team fights. And you can see here again, he goes back bottom, split pushes where the opponents aren't, and then he just farms some camps here, just keep securing himself some more experience, more net worth, and he's gonna go for a Spirit Vessel this game, which is a very good item against enemy heroes, but also it's a really good item for Nature's Prophet. It makes you extremely tanky. As an NP, it's your job to become as tanky as possible so the enemy can't kill you, but at the same time, you're like always baiting the enemy to go on you because you're just this pesky split pusher
Radiant's middle
hero
tower
all the
is under
time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And at this point, the Clinks is also planting some of the vision because he can go invisible around the map if Puppey doesn't necessarily have to plant all the vision here.
Dire's
And he just
top
keeps
tower
split pushing
is
bottom.
under
Like
attack.
you can see, he's not
Dire's
really
top tower
taking
is
clashes where he doesn't feel like he can outnumber the enemy. And here, top lane, his teammates want to go in, and he's actually TPing into the clash here. He's got a Spirit Vessel. It's such a big item for team fights. TP's in, sprouts the DK, uses Spirit Vessel, uses Wrath of Nature, gets a lot of damage out there. DK does fall here, but as you can see, because he's so tanky on Puppey, he's just able to TP out. There's not enough disables on the Radiant side, and he's got 1600 HP, minute 17 as a position 5 hero, which is not very normal at all. And now his teammates have all gone bottom, and he's decided to TP on the other side of the map, so his teammates don't have to spread themselves thin on the map by TPing up here and farming these waves that are coming in. He can just do that. And you look how safe he's playing in along the tree lines, right? He's not going all the way out here to farm these waves. He just wants to farm the waves that are coming in and playing extremely safe. After all, he is a position 5, and he doesn't need to be super farmed or something like that in this game. He just needs to make sure he can relieve the pressure from these creep waves. And now there's a clash happening bottom, and you know that Puppey is just looking at these clashes. He sees the fight breaks out, instantly uses his Wrath of Nature first. The Wrath of Nature will push out the creep waves, but also do damage in the clash. And he TPs into the middle of the clash, where he's able to just help out his allies. And the reason why he's TPing in the middle of the clashes and not like super far out on the outskirts is because he's very tanky right now, right? He's got a Spear Vessel, he's got a Hood. He kind of wants people to go on him in the fights, because if they go on him, that means they're not going on his cores in the fights, and his cores will be able to do all the damage, because he can do some damage, but he's a lot tankier than just being the sole damage dealer or something like that. Like Slark, Clinks, LC, Quap, they all do more damage than he does, and he's actually tankier than they are too. But he actually wants them to focus this Nature's Prophet hero. And it looks like in this game, he actually transitions himself into a position 4 sort of, because the Clinks is just focused on planting this vision. They don't have a whole lot of sentries, but it's not a lot of work for you to be able to pick up these free wards and some sentries. He actually buys himself some sentries. Again, he is, at the end of the day, still having to play position 5, even though he is playing a Nature's Prophet. He takes another tome, thumbs up, now he's going for a pipe. He's gonna get that very, very soon. It's really good against Storm Spirit. It's good against Sniper. They do like magic damage. Now he drops some sentries. He wants to deward these areas where he knows he's going to be split pushing so the enemy doesn't see him. And at the same time, also around the areas where Roshan is going to be spawning, or his team is going to be able to do Roshan. And all the items he's bought up until now, it just essentially makes him super tanky. Right? Even the power treads, sitting at strength treads. He's not even using in treads here, just so that he's much more difficult to kill. The more difficult he is to kill, the more annoying it is for the enemy to take clashes and actually kill this pesky split pushing Nature's Prophet. And you can see here, he's always TPing in the opposite lane of where his team is, because he can always join the team fights very quickly using the teleportation. But keep in mind that you're playing as a Storm. You have to make sure that you're positioning yourself in a way or have items that make it very hard for the Storm to be able to kill you. So he's always like pushing one wave and kind of going off the map, because he doesn't want the enemy to know that he's going to keep pushing and put himself out of position and die. And then he TPs mid lane, doesn't use his teleportation, actually uses regular TP, because his teleportation, he wants that to be off cooldown and be able to join team fights. So he uses regular TP to go TP mid lane, push out this lane, and this pretty much makes it so that his teammates don't have to come back here and be spread thin on the map. They can be, together like a unit and be ready to take clashes. So here Roshan was taken by Radiant, and he instantly drops the ultimate as soon as the Legion Commander jumped in and gave some vision. And all the enemy heroes are like kind of half HP from all that damage. And now again in the middle of the fight, uses the Spear Vessel on the Dragon Knight, the tanky hero that needs to die. And he's just kind of sitting in the middle of the clash, right? Like, he's not worried about it. Either they ignore him and he does all the damage with his Wrath of Nature, bonus damage, his right click, he does a lot. Or they have to go focus him, and that means his teammates will do damage. So you don't really want to play like a scared Nature's Prophet in the clashes. You kind of want to put yourself out there and make the enemy have to think whether they're going to jump you or they're not going to jump you. and just let you deal damage in the fights. And you can see here, he's playing very, very aggressively. And the reason why he's able to do this is because of these defensive items that he's bought. Got Slark near him, and the Legion, doesn't get the duel on that Storm, unfortunately. Now he's just gonna TP to the other side of the map because he knows all the enemy heroes are here. His teammates are pushing on mid, his other teammates pushing on bottom. So where does he go? Where there is nobody on his team, right? He's just gonna keep on using his teleportation, farming with his Nature's Call if he needs to. Always has sentries ready to drop in the fights to deward the enemy. And as you can see here, like, he hasn't really had any downtime whatsoever as a Nature's Prophet. He's always TPing and doing some, or right-clicking something. Whether it be neutral creeps or pushing out a lane far away from his team. But at the same time, he's always ready to also be able to enter the team fight. So here he TP's top. This one is kind of questionable because it's a bit more further out. But because he's got his mech picked up now and uses his hood, the Storm wasn't even able to kill him here. And all of a sudden, he baits out the enemy to go on him, and his teammates react, and in return, they're probably going to be able to get this Tidehunter. And that's the power of this tanky build. You might think like this tanky build doesn't really allow you to do anything, but at the end of the day, Nature's Prophet doesn't need damage, right? He only needs to be able to push out lanes, and he can do that just with his natural high base damage that he has. And all these items like benefit his team a lot. So instead of actually finishing the pipe, he went for the mech first, which will make him tankier. It doesn't really help out his team as much, but he will go for that pipe later when he needs it. So making him super tanky like this with the hood, mech, and the vessel essentially annoys the Storm, because the Storm was supposed to be a counter pick to this NP to try and catch him, but he can't catch him. Because even if he does, he's just going to click the hood, and Storm's going to burn all his mana, and by the time this Nature's Prophet Puppey even gets low, so one of Dire Heroes would already be there helping him and getting a return kill on the Storm Spirit. And again, look what he's doing. His teammates are all top, now he TP's bottom, right? So if his teammates were all bottom pushing this lane, he would be top pushing the wave out here. But every time he's always split pushing. He's split pushing in a way that the enemy, if they do catch him, it's very hard for them to kill him. Now he's gone for an Atos. This is a very good catching tool, but at the same time gives him a lot of stats as well. 28, 10 strength, 10 agility. Great item this game against Storm Spirit. He could go for a Hex, but he probably feels like the game might end a lot sooner, and this gives him that instant tank ability that he's really looking for. So his team are on mid lane, he split pushes bottom, gets his lane in front of the tower, uses his Treants to push forward, kill that tower. So every time he TP somewhere and drops the Treants, he'll just keep sending that out. So here there's a big clash that's about to break out. Their enemy is actually on their wards. Here, the Slark goes in first onto the Sniper. He first uses Wrath of Nature before he TP's in, so that ensures that his Wrath of Nature will get off no matter what. TP's again into the middle of the fight here. Has a mech, pops that. And look how everybody's focusing this position 5 NP. But it doesn't look like he's taking a lot of damage, right? Because he's super tanky. And this gives an opportunity for his teammates to pop the Slark, the Legion, to deal damage without having to worry that they're going to be focused. And in this fight, I bet he soaked a lot of damage as an NP. And after he does that, he just buys back. He can enter the team fight again if he needs to, but he realizes this fight is not going as well as it could because the Storm did buy back and zip back into the clash. So he buys back, takes the bounty runes, wants to split push and get these lanes out if possible. But because the Storm is not showing on the map, he's not going to do that. And his teammates are dead. So that means even if he does split push and he's tanky, his teammates can't actually help him. So he's just going to push out the mid lane. And look at his item. He goes for a repair kit. He was ready to, like, you know, defend the tower with the repair kit if he needs to. And he gives him some HP regen. But because the enemy stopped pushing, he just gets that quiver. Does some bonus damage, bonus range. Gonna be really nice pickup for him. And his next item, it looks like he's actually going for a halberd. I feel like he should finish his pipe because it's really good against Storm, for sure. It's like actually amazing against Storm Spirit. I'm kind of sad that he doesn't go for a pipe this game, but I would definitely recommend going for it. And it looks like this bottom wave here and this big camp has been Puppey's friend like the entire game. Like this is where he's been farming most of his net worth, it seems like. And obviously some ancients when his teammates are not doing it. And there's nothing happening on the map. So here the Kato gets picked out by the Klings, and Puppey helps out, and then a mid clash occurs because the Kato is dead after all. They feel very good about taking a fight in the mid lane. They go on this Dragon Knight first. Puppey, again, look at that. He always TPs into the middle of the clashes because he knows he wants to use his hood, this mech, and maybe bait out the enemy to go on him. So he pops the mech. He has a magic wand as well he can use, but doesn't actually get it because the DK actually killed him. Almost actually manages to get it off too, but unfortunately doesn't work out this time. But they do get the DK, they do get the sniper. We're gonna go to net worth actually here and just see his net worth. 14,000. Holy smokes. That's crazy. He's almost got more net worth than the enemy, and as you can see in this game, he didn't really clash in terms of like the farming of his allies, right? He's always farmed in a way that it doesn't clash with his allies, but still applying pressure to the enemy. And his teammates are still the highest net worth in this game. So he actually died back here. He's alive now, goes back bottom, starts split pushing. His teammates are not there, so he's getting those lanes out. And all his items are gonna help his allies too. And he actually goes back for a BKB instead of going for the halberd this game, because he knows at this point there's so many disables on Radiant side, and he just wants to be able to live through the clashes. So his teammates are dying bottom. He notices the fight is not that good, and when the fight is not that good, what he does is TPs to the other side of the map and starts split pushing, and this will be annoying for the enemy because they need to consider leaving this chase bottom to just be able to defend the top tower. And just like that, the Tide TP is back, and that also means they can't push up mid and bottom super quickly and get some objectives on it. Already level 3, 38 minutes in, huh? Interesting. Very, very fast farming. Nature's Prophet, that's a +5. So here, his allies have jumped mid lane, and you can see how like he's not really the one leading these engagements, but he's like joining the engagements every time it starts out. After he's obviously split push something, right? And one of the big things about Nature's Prophet is before a clash, or when a clash is about to begin, when he drops a Wrath of Nature, it actually pushes out all the lanes. So the enemy, even if the fight doesn't go so well for you, they actually can't take objectives right after that, unless they are already in front of your base. So here, two heroes are dead. He split pushes. He knows the enemy can't jump him. He has a BKB. He's got all these tanky items. 2,700 HP. Super, super tanky hero. Always dropping that vessel on the tanky Dragon Knight in the fights. So BKB's TP's out of the fight. He notices it's not a good clash at all. And his only ally that's probably gonna die here is gonna be Legion Commander. Queen of Pain does have a BKB TP out. So all good. You know, all of a sudden 25k goal lead for his team after they take these Raxes and get these kills. And it's just a natural flow of the game, right? Like, he's just split pushing where his teammates are not, and not really clashing in terms of the farm that his team wants to farm. And that's just, and just from taking all that is allowing all this network to be built up. He's got almost as much farm as his carry. That's insane. And his next item in this game is a Nullifier. I think it's great. It's more of like a luxury item. I mean, he could have even went for a Hex to have more disables for his allies as well, if he needs to. But he goes for the Nullifier. It's a lot of damage. And just like that, is a GG. Ooh, my game crashed in the end. But yeah, that's a very good example of actually a position 5 NP who helps first secure the lane for his carry, and then snowballs into kind of like a position 3, right, in terms of split pushing and such. And he's just kind of playing his role, right? He knows what his hero's toolkits are and just utilizing that the best that he can. And that's by just split pushing and joining the fights when it's really good for him to join the fights, and using Wrath of Nature to provide that big teamfight spell in the clashes. And buying all the defensive items that he can for his allies and himself. So these are like perfect items that you can get for Nature's Prophet. It's like Vessel, Mech. You can go. He could have went Pipe this game. I think Pipe would have been amazing. Actually, ideally you have Pipe in this game too. And when you TP to the team fights or in the middle of the clash with your teleportation, you can just use all your team fight items for your allies. And that always boosts their net worth and their survivability in the clashes. And pretty much making the enemies go on you is like a very important part of Nature's Prophet. Because he's actually extremely tanky hero. He's probably the tankiest position 5 you're going to play. A lot tankier than Ogre, that's for sure. Because you're going to build up a lot of net worth from all the split pushing that you will naturally do in the game. And helping people take towers as well. Early game as tier 1s and snowballing is a very key part of Nature's Prophet as well.